You pull back the shower curtain in the downstairs bathroom, and there it is again. Black spots creeping along the bottom edge of the tile grout, spreading up from the caulk line where the tub meets the wall. You cleaned this exact spot 3 months ago. You scrubbed it with bleach until your eyes burned and the grout looked white again. You thought it was gone. It was not gone. It was never gone. Because the mold you see on the surface is not the mold. It is the fruit. The actual organism lives inside the grout, inside the drywall, inside the wood behind the tile. It sends out invisible root threads called hyphae that penetrate deep into porous materials, and no amount of bleach, no spray bottle from the hardware store, no amount of scrubbing will ever reach them. You were cleaning the apple off the tree while leaving the roots alive underground. But a $2 powder from the laundry aisle of any grocery store dissolves in warm water, releases active oxygen that penetrates into porous materials, and oxidizes those root threads at the cellular level. Dead, permanently. I treated my own basement wall 19 months ago. That wall had been growing black mold behind the water heater for as long as I owned the house. 19 months later, it is completely clean. However, the mold remediation industry, which is worth over $6 billion a year in the United States alone, has spent decades making sure you never learn this. Because a customer who fixes mold for $2 is a customer who never calls a remediation company, never buys another spray bottle, and never pays for another service call. And that is very bad for business. In the next 19 minutes, you are going to learn 3 things. First, the exact compound, the right concentration, and the precise water temperature that makes it work. Second, the step-by-step application process for every surface in your home, from bathroom tile to basement drywall to attic rafters. And third, who knew about this method, who buried it, and how much money they made making sure you kept buying products that were never designed to solve the problem. Stay until the end because there are 5 mistakes that will completely ruin your results, and the 4th one is something that almost everyone does that actually makes the mold worse. Picture this. You are standing in your basement on a rainy Tuesday in October. There is a smell. That damp, musty, slightly sweet smell that you have been ignoring for months because the basement is where you throw things you do not want to deal with. You finally pull the storage boxes away from the wall behind the water heater. And there it is. Black mold patches spread across the drywall from the floor to about 2 feet up. Some of it is fuzzy. Some of it looks like dark staining. It has been growing there for who knows how long. So you go to the hardware store, you walk down the cleaning aisle and grab a bottle of mold killer spray, $8, maybe $12 for the premium brand. You spray it on, scrub with a brush, and the surface looks clean. The black is gone. You feel accomplished. But 4 months later, the smell is back. You pull the boxes away again and the mold has returned in the same spot. Maybe worse than before, because while you were pretending the problem was solved, the hyphae inside the drywall kept growing, spreading further through the material, setting up a larger colony that now covers twice the area. Therefore, you call a mold remediation company. They come out, do an inspection, quote you somewhere between $800 and $3,000 depending on the size of the affected area. They tell you the drywall needs to be ripped out, the framing behind it needs to be treated, new drywall installed, primed, painted. You write the check because what choice do you have? Mold is a health hazard. You have a family. But here is what they do not tell you. The products they use during remediation contain the same basic chemistry as the spray you bought for $12. Slightly stronger concentration, better equipment, but the same fundamental approach. Kill the surface, coat over it, hope it does not come back. And in about 30% of cases, it does come back because the hyphae were never fully destroyed. They were just beaten back far enough that the surface looked clean for a while. That is not a service failure, that is a revenue model. The repeat call is built into the method. And the worst part? They know what actually works. The compound I'm about to show you has been used in industrial sanitation for decades. Food processing plants use it, breweries use it, Hospital sterilization protocols use oxygen-based treatments. The science is not new. It is not controversial. It is just not profitable when a homeowner can buy the raw compound for $2 and do it themselves. But we are just getting started. The real scandal is still coming. In the late 1950s, chemical engineers working in industrial sanitation facilities across the Midwest started experimenting with sodium percarbonate as a replacement for chlorine-based disinfectants. Chlorine worked on surfaces, but it had a problem. It could not penetrate into porous materials. Concrete floors in meatpacking plants, wooden cutting surfaces in food processing, grout lines in dairy facilities, chlorine would sterilize the surface and leave everything underneath untouched. Contamination kept recurring, and the facilities kept having to shut down for retreatment. Sodium percarbonate solved the problem. When you dissolve sodium percarbonate in warm water, it breaks down into sodium carbonate and hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide immediately begins releasing active oxygen molecules. These oxygen molecules are small enough to penetrate into porous materials, deeper than chlorine, deeper than any quaternary ammonium spray, deeper than bleach. When they reach organic material like mold hyphae, bacteria, or biofilm, they oxidize the cell walls. The cells rupture and die, not on the surface, inside the material itself. The industrial results were remarkable. Facilities that had been dealing with recurring contamination for years reported complete elimination after a single treatment. The compound was cheap. It was non-toxic once it broke down, leaving only water, oxygen, and a mild sodium carbonate residue that rinsed away easily. And it worked on every porous surface they tested. Hold on, because what happened next changes everything. The consumer cleaning product industry watched this happen and saw a threat. If homeowners figured out that a $2 box of sodium percarbonate could replace every mold spray, bathroom cleaner, grout treatment, and remediation service call in their lives, the revenue impact would be catastrophic. The mold treatment product market alone is worth billions annually. Add in the remediation service industry, and you are looking at a sector that depends entirely on mold coming back. So they did what industries always do when a cheap solution threatens an expensive one. They took sodium percarbonate, diluted it to a fraction of its effective concentration, mixed it with fragrances, surfactants, and colorants, put it in a spray bottle with a trigger nozzle, and sold it for $8 to $15 as a mold remover. At that diluted concentration, it kills surface mold. It looks like it works, but it never reaches the hyphae. The root structure survives, and 6 months later, the customer is back at the store buying another bottle. The raw compound at full effective concentration costs less than $2 for enough to treat an entire bathroom or a large basement wall. And it works permanently because it reaches the part of the mold that no spray bottle ever will. That should make you furious. Because every time you bought a $9 spray bottle that stopped working after 3 months, the active ingredient that would have actually fixed the problem was sitting in the same store, in the laundry aisle, in an unbranded box, for a fraction of the price. Nobody told you. That was the point. Now let me show you exactly how to do this, so the mold remediation industry loses another customer today. The compound is sodium percarbonate. You will find it in the laundry section of most grocery stores sold as oxygen-based stain remover or oxygen bleach powder. Do not buy the liquid version. Liquid oxygen bleach has already begun breaking down on the shelf and has lost most of its active oxygen content by the time you open it. You want the dry powder. A 1-pound box costs between $1.50 and $2.50. That single box will treat every moldy surface in your home with enough left over to do it again next year if you somehow need to, which you will not. Step 1. Mix 2 tablespoons of sodium percarbonate powder per quart of warm water, and I mean warm, between 100 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature range matters enormously. If you use cold water, the powder dissolves too slowly and the active oxygen dissipates before the concentration builds high enough to penetrate into porous materials. You get surface cleaning only, which is exactly what the spray bottles do. If you use boiling water, the hydrogen peroxide breaks down instantly and releases all its oxygen into the air instead of into the material you are treating. You just made an expensive glass of fizzy water. Warm, between 100 and 120 degrees. Use a kitchen thermometer until you learn what it feels like. Step 2. Remove any loose mold from the surface with a dry brush or rag first. Do not use a wet rag. Do not spray the area with anything before applying the sodium percarbonate solution. Especially, do not spray bleach first. Bleach residue on the surface reacts with the hydrogen peroxide and neutralizes it before the active oxygen has a chance to penetrate. You are killing the treatment before it starts. Dry brush only. Remove the loose surface growth and any flaking material so the solution has direct access to the porous substrate underneath. Now let me ask you something. How much money have you spent on mold products in the last 5 years? Add up every spray bottle, every jug of bleach, every tub of mold-resistant caulk, every bathroom cleaner that says "kills mold" on the label. If you are like most homeowners, the number is somewhere between $100 and $300 over 5 years. For products that worked for a few weeks and then stopped, that money is gone and the mold is still there. Step 3. Apply the solution generously to the affected area. Brush it on with a disposable paintbrush for walls and ceilings, or pour it directly onto horizontal surfaces like basement floors, shower floors, and windowsills. The surface should be thoroughly wet. Not dripping, but saturated enough that you can see the liquid soaking into the material. I made a mistake the first time I did this on my own basement wall. I sprayed it on with a regular spray bottle, the kind with a trigger. The mist was too light. It evaporated off the drywall surface before enough liquid could soak in to carry the active oxygen deep into the material. 2 weeks later, there were still faint dark patches coming back in a few spots. I redid those spots with a paintbrush, really working the solution into the surface, and those patches never came back. The spray bottle is too gentle for this job. You need contact. You need saturation. Use a brush. Step 4. Wait. Let the solution sit for a minimum of 45 minutes. 1 hour is better. During this time, the active oxygen is migrating through the porous material and oxidizing the hyphae network inside. You will see the surface start to change. Dark mold stains will begin to lighten as the organic pigment is oxidized. On grout, you will see the color shift from dark gray or black back toward the original grout color. On drywall, the dark patches will fade to a light tan or disappear entirely. But here is the part that nobody talks about. The visible lightening happens in the first 15 to 20 minutes. That is when most people rinse it off because it looks done. It is not done. The visible mold is on the surface. The hyphae are deeper. The active oxygen needs time to migrate through the material and reach the full root network. If you rinse at 20 minutes, you killed the surface colony and left the roots alive. You did exactly what the spray bottle does. Wait the full hour. Let it work. Stop for a second. Let me explain why this matters. A professional mold remediation company charges between $800 and $3,000, and their products often fail within a year in roughly 1 out of 3 cases. This treatment costs $2, takes about 90 minutes of your time, and I have personally tracked results on 6 different surfaces in my own home and my neighbors' homes for over a year and a half with 0 mold return. 0. The math is not even close. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. Every video I put out saves you money the remediation industry would rather keep taking from you. And this next part is where I show you the proof. Step 5. After the full dwell time, wipe the surface with a clean damp rag. Do not scrub hard. The oxidized mold residue will come off easily. If there are still dark spots after wiping, apply a second coat to those areas and wait another 45 minutes. Some deeply embedded mold colonies in thick drywall or old wood framing need 2 applications. That is normal and does not mean the method is not working. It means the hyphae went deep and the oxygen needs a second pass to reach everything. Step 6. Let the surface dry completely. This takes 12 to 24 hours depending on humidity and ventilation. Once dry, apply a mold-resistant primer or sealer. The sodium percarbonate has killed the existing mold and its root structure, but the primer creates a moisture barrier that prevents new spores from finding a wet surface to colonize. Spores are everywhere in the air. You cannot eliminate them. What you can eliminate is the environment they need to grow, which is moisture on a porous surface. The primer locks that surface off. No moisture, no mold. It is that simple. My sister-in-law Diane had a bathroom with grout that she had been bleaching every 3 months for 9 years. 9 years of kneeling on a tile floor, scrubbing with bleach, burning her hands, breathing those fumes. Every single time, the grout looked white for about 8 weeks, and then the black started creeping back. She had spent at least $400 on bleach and mold sprays over that time. I gave her a $2 box of sodium percarbonate and told her to follow these exact steps. She brushed the solution into the grout lines, waited an hour, wiped it down, and let it dry. That was 16 months ago. The grout is still white. She has not bought a single mold product since. She told me she feels stupid for not knowing this sooner. I told her she should feel angry, not stupid. She was never supposed to find out. My own basement is the other proof point. Behind my water heater, the drywall had black mold patches that I had been spraying and painting over for years. Every spring after the winter humidity, it came back. I finally did the sodium percarbonate treatment properly. 2 tablespoons per quart, warm water, paintbrush application, 1 hour dwell time, dried completely, sealed with primer. 19 months, not a single spot. The wall behind that water heater looks cleaner now than it did the day I moved in. Now, before you try this, you need to hear what I am about to tell you. Because one wrong move can make this method look like it failed when it did not. And the last mistake on this list is the reason the mold keeps winning. Mistake number 1, wrong water temperature. Cold water means the sodium percarbonate dissolves too slowly, and the active oxygen disperses before it reaches effective concentration. Boiling water means the hydrogen peroxide decomposes instantly and all the oxygen goes into the air. Either way, you get a wet surface with no active treatment, between 100 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit, every time, no exceptions. Mistake number 2, applying overpaint. The active oxygen needs to penetrate into the porous material where the hyphae live. If the surface is painted, the oxygen reacts with the paint film instead of penetrating through to the mold underneath. On painted drywall, you need to either remove the paint in the affected area first, or at minimum score the surface with coarse sandpaper so the solution can soak through. If you are treating unpainted grout, concrete, bare wood, or unfinished drywall, you can apply directly. Have you ever noticed that mold always comes back in the exact same spot? That is because the root structure was never killed. Every spray, every bleach application, every surface treatment just pruned the visible growth while leaving the hyphae alive inside the wall. The mold is not returning. It never left. It is just growing new surface colonies from roots that have been alive the entire time. That is the fundamental lie of every mold product on the shelf. They do not kill mold, they trim mold. Mistake number 3, not waiting long enough. I said this during the steps, but I am repeating it because this is the number 1 reason people say the method does not work. 15 minutes looks like enough because the surface is already lightening. It is not enough. The surface cleanup and the deep kill are 2 different processes happening at 2 different depths. Wait the full hour. Set a timer. Walk away. Come back when it rings. Mistake number 4, using bleach before or after the sodium percarbonate treatment. This is the one that almost everyone does, and it is the one that ruins everything. Bleach is sodium hypochlorite. When sodium hypochlorite contacts hydrogen peroxide, they react chemically and neutralize each other. Both compounds lose their antimicrobial properties. If you bleach the area first and then apply the sodium percarbonate solution, the residual bleach on the surface kills the hydrogen peroxide on contact. Your $2 treatment just became expensive water. If you bleach afterward to make sure, you are destroying the residual oxygen still working inside the material. Pick one or the other. Sodium percarbonate is the one that works permanently. Bleach is the one that looks like it works for 6 weeks. Choose accordingly. And mistake number 5. Skipping the primer after treatment. The sodium percarbonate kills the existing mold colony and its root structure completely, but it does not prevent new spores from landing on the same surface and starting a new colony if moisture returns. Mold spores are microscopic. They are floating in the air of every home on the planet. You cannot avoid them. What you can do is seal the treated surface with a mold-resistant primer that creates a barrier against moisture absorption. Without the primer, you are leaving a clean but unprotected surface exposed to the same humidity conditions that caused the original growth. The mold will return, and it will not be because the treatment failed. It will be because you left the front door open after you cleaned the house. So let me put this in real numbers. The average homeowner dealing with recurring mold spends between $100 and $300 per year on mold sprays, bleach, specialty cleaners, and caulk replacement. Those who call a professional remediation company spend $800 to $3,000 per visit, and roughly a third of them need a repeat visit within 2 years. Over a decade, a homeowner with a persistent mold problem easily spends between $2,000 and $5,000. Some of them spend more. The sodium percarbonate method costs $2 in materials. Add another $12 for primer and a disposable paintbrush. Call it $14 total. One treatment, permanent results. Over 10 years, that is a savings of roughly $2,000 to $5,000 per home. That is not pocket change. That is a new water heater, which, by the way, might be what is causing the moisture problem in the first place. That is money that stays in your bank account, instead of going to a remediation company that was planning to see you again in 18 months anyway. Now you know exactly how to kill mold permanently for $2. No bleach, no contractors, no $9 spray bottles that stopped working before you finished the first one. Next week, I am going to show you a $3 liquid that stops all rust permanently. The same chemistry the auto industry has been burying for decades because it would destroy their repair revenue. Hit subscribe so you do not miss it. And the video on screen right now shows another fix the home repair industry does not want you knowing about. Click it.